Painting as a form of meditation has been a popular theme with artists. The act of painting may not consciously begin as an act of meditation, but there come moments in the midst of it when the painter feels meditative. It is particularly true while creating abstract art because it allows the mind to go beyond the discernible or identifiable in the immediate. One such artist is the eminent Mumbai-based painter, author, and journalist Prakash Bal Joshi. Although Prakash says he does not necessarily pursue painting as a form of meditation, it often acquires that path. Mayank Chhaya Reports spoke to Prakash to explore the theme of art as meditation. Welcome to Mayank Chhaya Reports, Prakash. It's always a great pleasure to have you.
Yeah, my pleasure to be talking to you because we know each other so long and you've been following my journey
Indeed,
into art, So
indeed.
it's wonderful talking to you.
I've been meaning to talk to you for quite some time about art and meditation. It's something that you have explored for a very long time. So let me ask
Yes.
you a broad question. When you started painting in a serious way, did you think of it as a form of meditation, or that was not your first thought?
No, I never thought it as a meditation kind of thing uh, because as usually as I began my journey in art, it was more of a traditional realistic work which required different kind of discipline. And I was doing it according to the requirement of the time and the space and everything. But slowly, when my art journey taking turn towards abstract, like earlier I used to use a lot of there used to be a lot of colors on my palette, and I used to try to make my objects colorful. And then I used to either look at some place or some object, and then I used to do it. But as I progressed in my journey, I began losing everything. Like first, it started with the color. Like color began disappearing, and there were only three, four colors which remained. And then slowly, objects also began disappearing. And then I began enjoying. I was not knowing also. Like I was little scared also to what I am doing. What is it kind of? Then I began enjoying playing with the colors. So slowly, that journey began, and then as I look back, I think that if meditation is something where you concentrate your mind, you forget your environment, and you start looking within. I mean, that's a kind of. I mean, I assume that that's the basic part of traditional meditation also, which is part of the yoga. Like people do
Right.
yoga, and then they try to discipline the mind, and then concentrate, and then they try to look within. If that is the meaning of meditation, then I realize that when I approach my empty canvas, that process also is somewhere near. I won't call it meditation, but kind of a search, kind of meditation, kind of concentrating your mind, or rather losing your mind. Like
Right.
in yoga also, like it's not only concentration, but more than just forgetting about the environment, about the materialistic world, and then you try to connect, as they do it in yoga and meditation, try to connect with the cosmic energy. Of course, I'm not practiced in yoga or something like that in a traditional form,
Right.
but I think my way of doing work, basically, I do it for myself. Like it's a searching my own self, like kind of philosophical questions which everybody asks. Like sometimes for the
Right.
other, like who I am, or I mean, where do I fit into this huge mass, huge
Right.
universe? The kind of philosophical question. So that question is taken, and then I compare it with my my art practice, I think somewhere it is near kind of meditation.
I, I see. Now,
Yes,
I'm glad you mentioned abstraction because I was going to ask you that was the main question in my mind because figurative art or other forms of art, they require certain kind of discipline, as you pointed out, a certain kind of imagination focus. But abstraction is something that takes you towards decluttering your mind. You're getting rid of forms and shapes. It's in a sense just a nirgun hota hai na. Abstraction
yes,
is like nirgun meditation.
very good. Yes, yes,
So it's interesting that your journey into art and meditation began with abstraction.
yes. Actually, uh, actually, when you approach the empty canvas, I mean, that's the point when you really, it's a really challenging point in the entire process. Like, when you approach that, then the whole world or your own experiences or your own existence is there in front of you, and then you go on the canvas. There is no thought process, there is no thinking in a sense that I don't decide to, I have to, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, or so I just approach like that. I'm intuitively, or I mean, just when I get excited or something like that, like I feel
Right,
I must paint now, that feeling, that edge, that urge.
right,
Then I pick up my brush, pick up my color, and the first time that brush touches the canvas, and then I have some strokes
right,
at random. So I'm not planning anything. I'm just actually I'm kind of as I look back, I see that it's actually going beyond reasoning. Because our rational mind always keep on questioning, keep on always planning, keep on always trying to understand. Because like everybody's standing in front of an abstract art, he or she, they first question is what is this? So
right.
they want to know what they want to understand. But you're trying to do something which is beyond understanding, which is beyond rational thinking, which is beyond logic. Yes, totally. It's a kind of a, I mean, I don't know, like you go deep down into yourself, your own experiences. The experiences includes everything, like including all kinds of memories. The memories may be of different voices, different sounds, or maybe just some touches or some kind of what you say, sparsha jnana, like
Indeed.
all those things will come,
Yeah, yeah.
or your feelings also. Like sometimes you are get excited, sometimes you're very happy, sometimes you're totally dejected, sometimes you're very curious, and you're very frustrated that you don't understand what is happening or what is the meaning. So all those things, they are churning within. It's like a matrix within you.
Right,
It's a kind of it's not static. It's moving, and you leave it to it. So you just, so you also don't know when you're doing your work, when you are finishing. Most of the time, I go and sit back because I got a small coach where I
right.
cannot lie down, but I have to sit, and my canvas is there in front of me.
Acha.
Most of the time, I just look at it, and kind of, I mean, you may call meditation or whatever it is, but then I keep on looking at it, and then I again start and again start doing
Right.
work on it. So this process keeps on going. Sometimes it happens within a day or two. Sometimes you keep on revisiting, and it may take 2 or 3 months also. So, and that's the reason,
Okay.
because the meditation is, because if I, as I told you earlier also, I don't take commission work.
Right.
Whatever I'm doing it for myself and for my own kind of search, my own kind of work, like my own search of myself. So I'm not bound with anybody. But if I take commission work, then the person who is commissioning that work will be observing that work, even if he is not be present.
Right.
It will be sitting on the mind, and that mind
Yeah.
also will be diverted.
Yeah.
So I won't call it a meditation kind of thing.
No, it's not.
Of course, if you are doing realistic work and you really do it to the finer stages, then you also sometimes go to that stage. But it very rarely happens. But when you're doing abstract work, then it really, when you reach the point, I don't know whether
No,
you really
no, it's
can.
true. It's true. I mean, you must have seen. I have also turned to abstraction a great deal lately. Uh,
Yes,
it you one finds that if meditation, I also don't meditate at all. But if meditation is about calming one's mind, abstraction
right.
helps you do it.
Yeah, exactly. It does it, but apart from calming your own mind, sometimes it's the opposite also.
That's true.
Yeah, like, like it depends on what is the feeling or what is coming out of you. Like you also don't
Yeah.
know. As we believe that there is a everybody has got energy within, and at the same time, as we are speaking about meditation, at the same time, all these yogic people, like those who really surpass and really reach at the highest level of meditation, they try to connect with the universal cosmic energy.
Right.
They rise to that level. I'm not saying like while doing abstract work, of course, I'm not reached that stage. Since I'm using blue color, someone told me that blue color represents a stage where you get stuck in between.
I
Like
see.
you are in the process of liberation, but you are not liberated.
Okay.
So you have to go miles ahead.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean that someone told me. I mean when he saw my one of my exhibitions, then he explained to me like that's why I'm using blue color, like not
Okay.
yet liberated. But I think that when you do abstract work, you really forget about everything. Actually, when I enter my studio, I'm entering into a different world altogether. When I close
Right.
my door, the whole world, all masters from the art world, I keep them out because
Okay.
that is what my uh, Mr. K.H. Ara, who is my, I mean, whom I follow and who used to like my work, he says you keep everybody out, like don't let anybody influence you. So even when
True.
so you just forget everything, all your day-to-day humdrums of life and
Right.
problems and issues, and then you're into your own zone.
Right.
So it's a very, very not only it's a very personalized space where you let yourself go. So it's very rarely that you share that space with anybody else than yourself.
Yeah.
So that also it's a kind of your own kuti. Kuti means is a place
Right. Right. Right.
where this Adhyatmic people they
Ah,
enter the
Kuti. Yeah.
space and
Right.
sit there
It is.
and they meditate. So in a way you are also there. I was also experiencing this kind of like I realized after this pandemic, pandemic everybody was confined to their own small space, their home or wherever they were, and they were very uncomfortable because for the first time they were confined.
Right.
But for a few days, of course, I was also really troubled and I did not also know what is happening. But then slowly, I went into my zone. Like I began thinking that this is my studio. Studio, I always used to be alone, like alone in the sense totally isolated and totally doing your own work, what you want to do. So in pandemic also that kind of a totally kind of you don't get any disturbance. You have your own space and you keep on doing what you want to do. That is what exactly. And another thing is, since you are not planning anything, you don't know what will come out of it. You don't know the end results, and you are not bothered about it also.
Right.
What you are enjoying is you are enjoying that entire process, like which is uncharted, which is unknown,
Right. Right.
which is your own, which is very peculiar, and through that you are searching something, And if someone, I mean, after once it is, as long as you're doing your work, it is your own personal way of expressing
Right.
your own meditation.
Yeah.
But once you take your work out of your studio and hang it in the gallery or make it public, then it becomes a kind of a public property.
Indeed.
Like what you were, and people keep on asking what you were thinking and what was your idea and what you were feeling and all. I mean, that is immaterial.
Absolutely. What is material is in front of you.
It is front of you.
Right.
You experience it. If it if you can talk with him, well and good. Sometimes
Yeah.
you may not be able to communicate with that
Right.
work also. It's so
Yeah.
individualistic. So it is so personal, so personalized that there is nothing common or there is nothing you can link with this or that,
Right.
or
You
with
know,
the previous work also.
it's interesting you mentioned uncharted. I was about to ask you about that. Abstraction is uncharted.
Exactly.
Since you do so much abstraction work, at what point do you suppose you're doing a piece which is behind you, for instance? At what point do you think it is complete, or completeness is not something that you are driven by?
No, completeness is not the end of it, or I never think in terms of, I mean, just complete, because for me, no work is complete.
Yeah.
Even the work behind me, I've done it and I have done with it, but it is not complete. It's still going on.
Right.
Like from that canvas, I also don't remember, like whatever I must have done after that. So that was a continued. It's a continuous process, as you say,
Right.
and you keep on experiencing those experiencing also, and it becomes part of your process also, which keeps on happening.
Yeah.
There is no end as such.
Right.
For the practical purpose or for the materialistic purpose, I've done with it.
Right.
So it has come out of my studio. Well, then whatever has to happen with it will happen. We don't know. Like you birth to a child, you don't know what will happen to him. What will he become? Where will he go?
Right.
Like that, you have done something, so we don't know which home or which wall it will
Exactly.
hit. But you
Exactly.
have done, and you're not stopped at that also. You keep on doing more work, kind of.
You know, it is remarkable, Prakash, as a fellow painter, apart from being a fellow journalist, I find it even now extraordinary that you do something on a piece of paper or on a canvas, something completely random,
Correct.
and suddenly 10, 15, 20 people react to it with such enthusiasm. And it's a great feeling, of course, but you wonder what it is that hit them when they saw that, because abstraction is difficult to define, right? So they must be
Yes.
projecting their own ideas on what they are looking at.
Except, see, that is also one of the best quality of abstract work,
Right.
because it's like an open, like as you say, open source
Yeah.
systems. It's not closed system. It's
Right.
open source. Like it is open for everybody. And when everybody looking at it, so they're trying to understand or they're trying to visualize or they're trying to share the experience what artists you bring it out from yourself within. It's like a huge deep well within, and
Right.
you have taken a kind of a deep dive into it, and you brought out something within you. It's a part of you on the canvas. You express yourself. So when someone sees that work, so they also try to they will get connected if they can reconnect it with their own experiences in their own life. They will also interpret in their own way. Everybody has his own kind,
Right.
and when it goes to the like art historians or art masters, or those who really analyze artwork and all, for them then they will try to analyze it. Like
Right.
they can try to connect it with some past masters, or they may say this is it, that. But that is
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
lookout. Our
Indeed.
lookout is to do a work,
Absolutely.
and that's the really, you can say that moha maya pash in meditation or in yoga, you're supposed to be done with it. You should not
Right.
have any kind of this. So like that, you do your work
And move on.
and then forget about it.
Right.
If you fall in love with your own work, then you will keep it with yourself. It will not even move also.
Yeah,
So you have to let the work go wherever it can.
exactly, exactly. It's a lot of people who are not don't have creative bent of mind. They don't realize what a high it is that there was once a blank canvas or a blank piece of paper on which you did something, and it hit somebody so hard. It's the ultimate in accomplishment in one's mind. That can you imagine? I did something and the other person reacted with such interest to it.
Yes.
It doesn't
Yes.
happen in any other form except painting.
Yeah. See, this is actually, I mean, original way of expression. I mean, I don't know.
Right,
I'm not authority on that, but I feel that this is the first expression the humankind have done
right,
in the visual form.
right,
Even before they could conceive voice or they could conceive
right.
word,
Yeah,
they express themselves in the form of drawing or whatever the cave drawings they have done.
right.
So this is very primitive form, very primitive.
It is.
And when you go to the abstract, it is you're just touching that chord, that primitiveness. So it's a basic thing. It doesn't require word. I mean, I have exhibited my works almost many places in the world, like right from Chicago to New York to Moscow, and I mean all many
Right.
places like to
Across the
Cairo
world.
and
Yeah.
all. What I've realized that see people come and see you work. They come with different background, different personal, religious, social, political background, their own education, their own visual language. They have different, but they get connected.
Exactly.
For example, my series on river returns, I displayed it in many places in Gulf, like Cairo and Jordan. So I found them; those people, they really got connected with that because it was river,
Right.
and they have they have seen rivers disappearing, and into desert. They have experienced the desert, so they know the value of water and the rivers.
Right.
So they got connected. So this is how things keep on happening.
Yeah. And to change gears a bit, Prakash, just last couple of things. I wanted to ask you, figurative art is something that you almost don't do now. You don't do landscapes in the traditional sense of the word, where you can see mountains and homes and trees. Uh, do you ever want to go back to art that is identifiable?
I don't know, but I may also. I don't know.
Okay.
But I want to do. But I want to doing realistic work like the way the Spanish artists do,
Yeah.
or in the detail.
Right.
But I will be, if at all I will be doing, I'll be I'll be doing experiments on human figures,
Okay.
in my own way. But I'm not. I don't know. It may happen, or it may not happen also.
Right. Right.
But
Another
that is
thing I want. Yeah.
something which is calling me, especially.
Okay.
Yes.
Another thing I wanted to ask you was your favorite artist and mine, Edward Monk.
Yes.
Uh, what is it that
And
attracts you to Monk?
I like the diffusion of there are no lines, diffusion of lines, music
Right.
of color, but at the same time, it's objective. Like you can make out the realistic form,
Right.
as well as it diffuses. So it's a great mixture of abstract as well as realistic,
True.
and at the same time, there is a story and there is a concept also. So it's not totally abstract. It's not totally without form and without color separation. But it is one of my favorite.
Yeah. No, I was at the
And the
Metro.
best part is like he could connect with the world. I mean he could crystallize the feeling of that era,
Exactly.
that fear. So I mean, so it was kind of that Second World War and all those things that
Right. And his personal
the
depressive
entire
state
human
of
heart
mind.
was.
He
Sorry.
had a very depressive state of mind for quite some time, and that
Yes. Yeah.
reflected
Yeah.
in his work so remarkably.
See, most of the artists, they have the on the verge of, I mean, on the in a very thin and very diffuse borderline of sanity and insanity.
That's true. I was at the Metropolitan Museum the other day. I mean, I was just captivated by what was in front of me. All the masters, impressionist masters, were there. I mean, if you look at, say, Claude Monet, for instance, just little strokes of
Absolutely.
light, it's astounding.
Correct.
And to think that someone can 150 years ago could just do that and it would just last, it's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.